Welcome to Leaders Connect, an online leadership community episode 47, where leaders create more leaders, organized by the Mask Leadership. My name is Rangarajan. I am Deputy Manager in National Justice. Taking Leader Connect is started with the specific objective of creating 1,000 plus leaders, where all working professionals and business people share their real-time challenges, either leading self, others are leading their business. Uh, the challenges as we have shared on our website www.themaskleadership.com. We see all the challenges, filter them, and every week on Wednesday we invite the top management leader like today's leader, Miss Harini Srivatsan, who will be giving solution for our real-time challenges on leadership. That's when we call as leaders create more leaders.
So we collated a couple of questions which has come up from different members here. So I would request Mr. Prabhakaran to ask a couple of questions which we had collated. So Mr. Prabhakaran is the head of operations at mybigbreak.com. So great, Prabhakaran sir, over to you and go ahead with the questions. What do you want to ask?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prakash, for this opportunity. And thank you, Harini ma'am, for coming here. Day-to-day process. We are more transactional even within, in this circuit with our subordinates. We face a very big challenge when it is so tied up. We are so tied up with work. And we sometimes go overboard discussing only about official aspects. How do we actually follow a process of nurturing in a systematic fashion? And this is one of the important questions given by one of our colleagues in automobile industry.
Interesting. See, if we start looking at nurturing as a task to be done, I think that is where we are fundamentally making a mistake.
True.
Because, if you start looking at it as a task, it will require us to have a separate time for it. It will require us to have a project plan for it. It will require us to measure and monitor. But I think nurturing is a behavior. It is an appropriate behavior that a leader has to demonstrate. And it has to be the way the leader lives his life, right? So again, let me give you by way of an example. I had this girl who joined in my team, and she came from a management institute specializing in HR, and she joined as a management trainee in the HR function. But as I was speaking to her the very first time, I felt that this girl comes in with tremendous amount of potential, and she's willing to experiment on things, and she's ready to do anything and everything so that she's able to invest her time meaningfully. Now here, I understand this person's energy level. And for me, nurturing here is something where I have to keep giving her exciting work to do so that she feels she's meaningfully investing her time. Now, that is what is nurturing for her because her energy level is high. She's willing to experiment. At the same time, now this girl was 20 years younger than me in age. At the same time, I had another gentleman reporting to me who's 20 years older than me, a direct reportee to me. Now, here is somebody for whom he comes with 20 years more experience than me. So if I go and give him things to do, if I delegate to him, it's not going to feel like nurturing. He's going to feel kind of insulted saying, you came only yesterday. I've seen 20 more Diwalis than you. What are you trying to teach me? So for him, nurturing has a different meaning. For him, it is, I go to him with the bigger problem statement. I take a consultative approach. I pick his brains to get the best ideas out of him. So for him, nurturing is when I am leveraging his expertise. For a fresher, nurturing is when I am giving her exciting projects to experiment on. So when you're having so much of diversity in the meaning of the word nurturing itself, it definitely will occupy all your time if you as a manager starts getting into nurturing as a project or a task in itself. I think what is important is simplest. What was common in my behavior with the 25-year-old and the 65-year-old? That was when I was 45. So what was common in my behavior with both of them is irrespective of their age, I treated both of them as adults.
Yes.
In the workplace, treat adults as adults. Okay, so when you start treating adults as adults, you are not imposing any rules. You're not telling them what to do, but you're only talking about your vision to them in their own way. You're adapting to their styles, their aspirations, and you're adopting a different methodology each time to connect. Each person, give them a different kind of a lever. Identify their motivators. The moment you know what their motivators are, play it to the gallery. So what happens is, when they have a free ground to play or be themselves, they feel valued. The moment they feel valued, their contribution to the team is much more. The moment the contribution to the team is much more, you acknowledge and reward it. Okay. The moment you acknowledge and reward it, they get a feeling that they're being nurtured. So the simplest thing is, normally when it comes to nurturing, we all think of a child, we think of a sapling, we think of a small, little thing. But I think nurturing is best when you treat adults as adults.
Yes.
For that matter, even my children, there are many famous stories which run in my house where I have treated my 4-year-old son, then a 4-year-old son, as an adult, and I've had an adult-to-adult conversation with him. And that has actually nurtured him to become a very mature individual today. So I think treating adults as adults is more important. So don't become a banyan tree and cover everything under the garb of nurturing. Then what will grow under your shade will not be banyan trees. They will be those weak saplings. So nurturing is the art of letting go. Let go, take a step back, but when they are falling, be right there to save them. So I will take a completely different stand on nurturing. Nurturing is treating adults as adults and not treating them as novices. I think that's a big mindset change. If we start doing that, we'll be able to nurture them better.
Literally mind-boggling. The very word and the very interpretation or connotation that we carried all this while, nurturing is meant to be addressed to weak, frail things. That is how we carried all along.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
there is a different dimension altogether. And thanks to that.